Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Flutter Sundays. My name is Deborah, GDG Accra co-organizer. Today we have with us Randall Schwartz, Flutter and Dart GDE, and he'll be taking us to answering some questions that we might have from the previous session, as well as if you have any new questions today, he'll be helping us with the answering of some questions. Take it away, Randall.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if we have a special way to notice your questions in the chat, because we are live. So if you go to the URL for the YouTube, you should see us and see it, not only see us live, but also see us, we see your questions and stuff that you have there. We have a comment already. That's nice. Somebody else needs to be watching the comment stream though. Not me, because I can't do that all at once. I've learned that I can only do about 6 things at once, not 7. Otherwise, we were planning on having a program ahead of me, and that I would come in and answer questions about what today's learning was. But I can't exactly answer questions about something that hasn't been shown yet. I guess I can kind of review a little bit about what was talked about the last week, and I think the last 2 weeks, as we're in week 3. I can pull up my screen and share it and just go through the basics of setting up a project. Now, I use Visual Studio Code. That's, I think, the better one of all the ones that are supported, mostly because it's not written in Java, so it isn't extremely slow to start up and to do anything. It's written instead in JavaScript, actually, in Electron. So, and it's absolutely free. You can download it from by Googling for Visual Studio Code. I have no idea where I got it, but it came off the net somewhere. But there's also a number of extensions for it. The first one you have to get for Visual Studio Code and for any of the popular IDEs that support Dart and Flutter is the Dart and Flutter extensions. I want to actually just show you how that was installed here. We will we'll go over. Okay, I need to share. And Deborah, you may have to push some buttons here to bring me actually on. Bring my screen on when I bring it up. Where's code? Code. Why is code not coming up? Because it has no window? No, it's got a window. Probably because, oh, there, it's there. All right, here, share. So you should now be seeing, I don't know if Deborah pushed the buttons or whether it was just me pushing the buttons to do that. It should be seeing Visual Studio Code, my instance of it, doing absolutely nothing. Because the first thing you need to do is to install the extension over here. I have my bar on the right-hand side because I like all my stuff over there. I want to see the left-hand side of my screen where the left side of the code is. So I have everything moved over to the right. And in the extensions, you can find, by searching for Dart, you can find a bunch of things that are related to Dart. But in particular, if you instead search for Flutter, I'll give you a little clue here. You don't need to install the Dart extension because the Flutter extension automatically includes the Dart extension. So here's what the Flutter extension will look like. And then it will have an install button down there. Since I already have it installed, I don't have an install button because it's already there. And what that gives you is a bunch of operations that you can do in the command window. And so let me do that so we can have a project in front of us. It's going to be the counter app again. What do you know? It's always the easiest one to show. So we come up here and we go Flutter New Project. Here it is right at the top. Bing. And then it's going to ask 2 things. It's going to ask where on my disk do I want to install this. And I'm just going to say go to /temp because I really don't need it after this is over. Okay, so I select the folder down here, pushing on the lower right button there, and hopefully that's big enough to see. That's probably pretty tiny on some people's screens, but I'm going to make the text bigger in the code once we get there. So I select that project, and now it's asking for the name there. So I can go GDG, see if I can spell the name of the place correctly. A-C-C-A-R-A. Is that right? No, there's one C. I can't remember. Where am I at? Where am I at? I can't tell. Okay, I'll just say GDG. Then it's perfectly right. Okay, so let's do that again. Oh, what happened? It went away. Okay, so new application project. Still go to temp. Select the folder. I'll just say GDG. No, but okay. Okay, and once I hit enter here, it's going to actually build the project. So we'll do that. We hit enter. And then temporarily, there's a little shell script in there that it's actually running right now. And down here in the corner, you see that it's running this command. And as it's running that command, all these directories get populated with cool stuff. Let me make this a couple of sizes bigger just to make it easier. Well, not that big because it takes over everything. That is probably about as big as I can go. Maybe I can move this bar over a little bit further. You don't need to have my file names all the way across the screen. Now I can make it one more bigger. Okay, and so as you saw in at least last week, this is now my Dart code that I'll be editing to make it do different things and to be watching it. I'm going to, that's bing.dart over here. There's a lot of other folders here. Let me point out just a little bit of what they are. Dart tool is for the Dart and Flutter commands to cache information so that you don't touch that. I don't even think you need to check that in. I think that's even get ignored. So it doesn't even go into the repo. We'll find out in a second, I guess. Yeah, it must be get ignored or else I'll be getting notifications already about needing to check a file in because something's been modified. So we're going to go ahead and double click on main.dart just so that it becomes a file that's not open temporarily, but open permanently for now. You may notice that I have this little view over here on the right-hand side. I think that's one of the extensions I installed. I can't remember now. I've been doing it with VS Code for so long. I've forgotten everything that I do. But let's see, the idea is for the IDEs that come from JetBrains, so like Android Studio and something IntelliJ Community Edition or whatever that's called, whatever the other ones are that are allowed, but it has nothing to do for Visual Studio Code. And then you have the Android and iOS directories that are for building specifically for mobile apps for the respective platforms. And again, you generally won't need to change anything in here. I've been building apps for my phone for months now and haven't needed to touch anything there. Years, actually, I guess it's time goes by. Lib is where you're going to be putting for an app, is where you're going to be putting most of your code. And you get the pre-populated main.dart, which we're looking at over on the left side here. And you get, and that's it. This is the entire app. It's one file. And then the macOS library is here because I also have build for macOS desktop enabled. And so that's in there. Let's see, I just realized if I want to show the emulator, I have to show my whole screen. Well, there's some things running that I don't want you to see. I don't think you'll be able to see them if I just switch to them real quick here. Let's see. Can I quit things here? Let's see, quit. Can't see anything happening because I'm doing this on another window, which is not currently being shared in StreamYard. And if there's a question coming in, somebody will have to wave me down and let me know. So yeah, I'm quitting everything else on my desktop and hopefully not where StreamYard is running or where my Visual Studio Code is running. Yeah, okay, I think I've done it. All right. So yeah, how are you supposed to be able to talk to me at the same time that that I'm also demonstrating something? I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. Interesting. Well, whatever. Okay. So let me just continue on a little bit more. I see there are other comments here when I was flipped over to the other window. See, I have just a lowly laptop. I don't have like 3 screens set up so I can see the same thing on all 3 screens or whatever. But yeah, so let me just keep walking through this for a second. Let me actually switch to sharing my desktop now, which again will be a little weird because we also have the yeah, no, I'm not sharing. Let's see, let's share my entire desktop. So that's entire screen, right? And it's going to loop infinitely for a second. So hang in there. This is just a special effect. How come share isn't switched? Oh, because I haven't hit this. Okay. See how quickly I can switch away from the StreamYard. There. All right. So you should be seeing the same thing you just saw before, but now, let's see here. I need to hide that. Okay. And now, if we want to actually see this run, and again, I think that was demonstrated last week and or the week before. I wasn't finished going through the folder. So one of the things that's here is Mac OS, which allows me to build for the Mac desktop, which I can do. There's test, which is for all the tests I don't write. No, I should be writing tests. And because I also have web enabled, I'm going to get a web folder. Now, this folder is interesting because when you build it, it will create a build directory that's below this and another web directory below that. And that's the thing you publish to your hosting service, wherever it is. Okay, and then git ignore is forget. Okay, metadata, I'm not exactly sure what's in there. Let's see. Tracks properties of this project. Oh, okay, cool. This file should be version controlled. I guess it's just to tell you what version of Flutter I was running, or what version of Dart I was running at the time. Maybe it's Flutter, yeah. Dot packages is actually, I think, a legacy file because now it's saying use the one in Dart tools. This GDG file is something for Java, I guess, if I build for Android. And pubspec.yaml is probably the only other file you'll be editing in here. And that's going to control the things from the library that you'll need in order to do that. So, Deborah, if there's any questions, I'm not seeing the chats anymore because I'm looking only at what you're looking at. So just interrupt with audio so I can tell if there's a question.
Yeah. Currently, we don't have questions in the as well.
So I have to keep winging it. Okay.
But I think we have just 10 minutes. Yeah, we have just 10 minutes to wrap up with the questions and answers. Then I think Etonam will continue with it.
Is he there yet? Is the person there yet?
Yes,
that's going to be talking
in now.
Okay, good. All right. Well, just you know what? Let's just stop this here, and then let's go ahead and give the other presentation, and then I'll be back at the end of the show to answer some more questions. Okay. Let me stop sharing now. Stop sharing. Oh, there. I knew I'd do that at least once. There we go. All right. So can we pull them on?
Okay. Yeah. Welcome, Ethanam.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you continue with this session? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I think you have to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay.
All right.
Take it up.
Yeah. Can you please bring my screen to the main stage? Yeah. All right. So good evening, everyone. So today we'll continue from where we stopped, which is so basically we created we're in the process of creating our view, and I think I forgot to open. I think it's here. Yeah. here. So we're in the process of creating this. So let me quickly just run this. Yeah, so basically we created our home page, and our home page has an app bar and also an icon over here. That's the leading. And with our body, we have a column which takes a text, which takes two texts. So we'll then look at how to add the image as you can see here, this image, then another text with this the degrees symbol over here. Then we look at adding a row. So this the next day, and this icon and the temperature, they are basically in a row. So we also look at doing okay. So yeah, so usually when you run your projects, right, you see this pop up here. So this is your dev tools, and this basically helps you to debug your app. So it gives you insight. It gives you insight into your app. For example, which like when you click on, just open it in a browser. Okay, I think there's something wrong with the dev tool. But basically, it gives you insight on your code. Basically, the wiki that you are on. If there's a rebuild, you can see it in the dev tool, and I'll take you through when we are done with the project. So basically, this is what we have now, and currently we'll need to add an icon over here. So so with those icons, I've already downloaded the icons that we need. They are all SVG files. So what we have to do is we now have to add these icons to the project. And in doing this, you have to basically create a folder inside your the root folder. So inside the root of your project, you can create folder. Let me call it asset. So I have my assets here. So right now I can just drag and drop all my images into my asset here. And for us to let Flutter know that we've added some assets. So basically, in this folder, you can add your audio files, your video files, basically any type of file. You can just put it here. But the thing is, you have to reference it, right? So you have to let Flutter know that you've added some files. And when you go into your path.yaml, when you scroll through, just below this uses material design, right? And you can see some comments here to add assets to your application. Add an asset section like this. So basically, what you can do is we can just uncomment this, and always be mindful of the indentations because it's very key. If you any mistake you make here, basically will prevent, as you can see here, will prevent your project from building. So we can add the whole folder instead of adding file by file, right? So we can add the whole folder. So basically, we can add the whole asset folder. So when we add the whole folder, it automatically add everything inside that folder. So instead of image here, you can just say assets with the slash here. So basically, it will add, we'll have access to all our images here. Then we can go back to our main dot that, and just below the application, I think we need another plugin. So what is on here? Yeah, so we need another plugin. So can we need a plugin to display our SVG. So there's a plugin called I think it's Flutter SVG. Okay, there's all here. As I said earlier, you know, you can't memorize all these plugins in your head, right? So usually you can just go to this site, fluttergems.dev, and basically you can see that they've categorized most of the plugins, or they held most of the healthy plugins for you. So you can just go through it, and basically yeah, just select it, and as you can see here, we have the Flutter SVG. So, and also some description about it. So this can help you when you're looking for plugins to use in application. So we will add this by just clicking on this to copy. Then we can put it here. But the issue here is so this, as you can see, this plugin currently uses null safety, and my version of Flutter doesn't I haven't upgraded my version to Flutter 2.0 and above, so we'll probably get this error here. But if you are using the latest version of Flutter, you won't get this error. So I'll just have to get a version that is not now safety supported. So I think this version over here. So let me just do this. All right. Yeah, I think this should. We shall just all the way down to this guy. I think let me in the whole project. So, to clean your project, all you have to type is Flutter clean. And what this does is, I think there's a folder here called build, right? So anytime you use this command, it goes to delete the build folder and some other generated files that Flutter uses. So something like some cached files. So it goes to delete all these cache files, and you can basically something like download your plugins again by using the command flutter.pap get. So it's complaining about something. Oh, this is really, really weird. Because this is the version that I use in almost everything. Wow. All right. I think I'll just have to get another plugin to display it. So I haven't tried this before, but I think this should work out. Okay, so this has worked. Yeah.
I was
So
just going to say, if I can interrupt for a second, it might be faster since all the modern stuff is now being done with Dart 2.12, the new NNBD Dart. Are you already running? Have you already installed Flutter 2 to get the upgraded Dart?
yeah, so I actually tried it, but the problem is I have some projects like that are using the old one, and some plugins that those projects are using are not doesn't support now safety, right? So
Yeah.
after I did the upgrade, I faced a lot of issues, so I had to downgrade back. Yeah, that's why.
As long as the minimum SDK in that first few lines of the pubspec.yaml is not 2.12 yet.
Yeah.
Like there's 2.7. You can leave it like that and you can still run it with Dart 2.12. It will go into legacy mode because it sees that number.
Oh, okay.
So you only have to have Dart 2.12 and Flutter 2.0 installed and everywhere. Just don't change that number until you're ready to change the number.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. That wasn't ever made very clear, and I've had to explain this now to hundreds of different people. So I'm glad I'm getting a chance to even say that here for y'all, because it's something that isn't quite said. So another thing is that you don't have a lot of code yet. It might be faster for you and more modern for you to go ahead and run Dart migrate and actually show what that does. It will change that number to 2.12, and it will change your code to make sure that it complies with the new null safe Dart.
All right, sure. I think I can do that after the whole project is built.
Yeah.
So we migrate everything to.
Okay.
No safety. Yeah.
Well, whatever you want to do. I was just trying to help out there a little bit.
All right, sure. Thank you.
Also, I'll go back to the versions for the first plugin you were going to try. So go back to the pub and look, not that one, the previous one that you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, and see the versions over there on the right, not the changes, the versions. More to the right of changelog example installing versions right there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, now look at the min SDK. You want the one that doesn't have 2.12. So 2.2. So 0.19.3 should work. You did a +1 or +2 after that, something. It was something a little weird. But that's where you can also tell the ones that will be work with previous versions of Dart.
Okay, yeah. So that's why I was actually surprised because I actually use it in another project and it works fine. So it's just.
Well, you didn't pay the demo guides enough. Because now you're doing a live demo and it's not working. I've learned to pay regularly. I have them on standing payment so I can do stuff like this. And I'd be happy to take 5 or 10 minutes at the end of this show to actually show Dart migrate and what it ends up doing.
All right, sure.
So you don't need to show that, just to see if you can get this working the way it is.
All right.
Okay.
So so right now we can then. So this is cool. I think we have we don't have code. We have cloud. So let me just cloud. So we have our icon here, but it's really small. So let me just give it a fixed height and width. Okay. So where's this? Okay. Yeah. So we have this now. I think I should make it a little bigger. So then we have an image below we have an text below the image, right? So And this text has the degrees section icon or symbol. So in doing something like that, there's this widget called the rich text. So you can use the text rich or rich text in any of them. So rich text, right? So when you hover over it, so it takes an inline span. So basically, this is a text span. So there are different we have the widget span and the text span, and I think another one I can't remember that. Basically, this helps you sort of nest other widgets inside the text span. So basically, you can choose to give each of the widgets different, how should I put it, different sizes and different fonts and all that. So with this, it has a part called text. So you can, let's say 19. Okay. So I think we need to style it. So, I'm going to give it a color of black. And the height of 60. This is too small. So to have our degrees icon over here, so inside our text span, it has an output called children. So these children basically it's a list of inline span. So as I said, we have this. So we have something called the widget. Okay. We have the widget span. So wow. For example, if you need a click, let's say you have something like a terms and conditions, right? Usually you want your users to be able to click on the terms and condition link, then it will basically open it for them to read. And maybe you have it inside beside another text. So instead of I've seen at some point usually they use rows to do that, which I don't think is appropriate. So using something like this, you can do that just by using the widget span. You can use a child, then you can basically just call an equal or gesture detector over here and wrap it with your text image to get what you want. So since that's not what we are doing now, I'm going to let's put 0 here right now and see what I keep pressing R. Okay. So I think so. We want it at the top, and okay. So I think I'll leave this like this. Then I'll move to the next one. Then later on, we are going to style this in a better way, and also the image, give it a dynamic width and height, so that based on the screen size and the size of the image. Yeah. So let's move to the next one, which is the row. So the row basically takes children, and as you can see here, we have a text, an image, and another text. So it's just something like what you have at the top here, but in an in another format. So we have the text. So it's next day, and it's bolded. So the weight. It's not too bolded, I think. So I'll just yes, and so you can see it here. The next one is an image. So okay.
I just Googled, you can type a degree symbol by typing Option Shift 8 on the Mac. So you don't need to go to a separate text span. You can actually put that
Oh,
right
okay.
next to your 19. Option
Okay.
Shift 8. Option
Yeah.
Shift.
Yeah, Option Shift 8. Okay.
See? There you go. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Instant answers.
Yeah. Right. Then I think we don't need the text pan anymore, so we can just replace all this with the text with it. Keep using. So instead of using this way of styling, right? So just to give a quick tip. So let's say you have different type of themes, right? So you have your app has a dark theme, a blue theme, a light theme, and other stuff. Then I mean, setting this setting it like this, usually it will give you problems. For example, when it's dark theme and you set the color to be black, basically the user wouldn't be able to see. So without you can get it from the theme that you are using. So basically using this method. So theme dot context, then you can call the text theme. Then I mean so basically you have to set all this. So if you want to use body text one, then use it. So basically if based on what you set inside your theme, right? If you say that if it is lighting, this the color of this body text should be blue, and if it's dark theme, it should be yellow. I mean, automatically based on the theme, it will basically detect it and switch those colors for you. You don't have to manually be setting it. But right now, I will do that. And size, okay, size. Right. So the next we have an image. So with a row over here, so we have an image next to it. And this image is SVG. I said so basically this what you see here is basically should I say a link, or yeah, a link to your file, your image file. So you have assets, asset, um sun. Let's use sun. Yeah. You can give it weight of, let's say 25 and the height of about 25. Okay, so you can see it right here. And we have another text after the image. Oh, We have 22 briefs. And I think, does it have a weight? Yeah, it has a weight. So basically, this is a clumsy example of what we have here. So now to basically style it, so starting from the row, right? So as you can see, everything is stuck to the left, but we want it to be in the middle. So let's set the cross axis. So the cross axis basically is the cross axis, it has a lot of I'll say some few options. One is the baseline. So when you select baseline, right? So now let's say you've set a baseline for it. It moves the children of this row to that baseline. When you select center, it centers the whole the children. When you select end, it moves it to your right. When you select start, it moves it to your left. When you select stretch, it tries to cover the screen. That's the width of the screen as much as possible. So can we just use okay, I think having our dev tool here will have been very, very helpful. But anyway, so as you can see, it's basically not moving. It has centered it, all right, but it is still stuck to the
Main axis alignment,
yeah.
because you want to move it in the normal direction that it's moving. Yeah.
Okay, so we now have it in the center. So basically, we can add some spacing to it. So over here, we basically use size box. So size box is basically a widget that takes only a child, and it's also so as you can see, it also has a width and a height. So it takes a child, a width and height, and a key. So usually when you look at all these widgets, right, they have something we call the key. So the key is basically something to uniquely identify this widget. So you can choose to set it or just leave it. But for example, you can use the key to track the change. So if you're using a stateful widget and there has been a change, let's take something like you have a list that you decide to reorder. So when the user drag it to the top, it reorders the list. So you use the key basically to track the movement of the widget. So where it was, where it has moved to, and other stuff. So basically, and also you can use the key to basically uniquely identify a widget like whilst it's building. But usually you won't see lots of people using it unless it is extremely necessary. I've added a size box in between here and here. So as you can see, but I think it's too far apart. So let's move this into 30 and 30. Yeah, so I think this should be a little closer since it's okay. So we also need spacing between the row and the text. So this row over here and the temperature. So we can do that. So over here we've centered everything, right? So we can choose to use, so with the main access, it also has some properties, right? So one is the center. So the center basically is what we can see here. It's a centered the whole thing. We have end, so it moves everything to the end. That is I think the bottom. It forces everything to the bottom. Start moves everything to the top. Space around, so basically it moves everything to the center, and there's a space around it, basically a space between is so it tries to push all the widgets apart by putting spacing between them. Then we have the space evenly, so it looks at your screen size or your screen height and divide it equally, and basically push like all the widgets apart, giving them an equal spacing between them. So just to try it evenly, let me see how it goes. It would have been better, but everything is too far apart. I mean, one thing we can do is we can basically group these two. Since looking at the image, they are one, they are very close together. We can basically just group them. And in order to do this, you can just highlight these two widgets, right? So the text and the two texts, the Accra and the code. You see this Bob icon over here, which says show fix. So when you click on this, right, so it gives you some options. You can wrap this two in another widget. You can wrap it in a row or a column. So I want to wrap it in another column, so that these two things now looks as if it's one widget. So now when I save it, as you can see here, yeah, so we have now this here, and this here. So there's also too much spacing at the bottom, and right, okay, I think the spacing at the bottom is okay. So this two also looks much closer, so I think it would be ideal to group them. So that's the image we have here and the text and the, so you can basically do the same thing for it. Just group it. Okay, so we now have this and this and this. I think this looks, yeah, and also together. Yeah, this is also together. So as I said earlier, with the image, right? So giving the image, I think our time is almost up. By giving the image the dynamic height and width, so you can basically get this values from what we call the media query. I think who do web will probably like recognize this. In your CSS, you have to so basically use your media queries to determine the screen size and also the breakpoints of your application. So basically, with this media query, it also has some properties, getting the brightness, getting the text scale factor, moving padding, moving view insert, moving. So it has a lot of option. Currently, we just go with the off to give us 8 properties, which is actually a lot. But right now we are looking for the size. So we have size here, and when you call size dot width, right? So it basically gives you the width of the screen. So which is from here to over here. So now let me select on. Okay. Yeah. And The height also, I mean, you can also call those heights on it, which will give you the height of the screen. But over here, we want some spacing around it. So I think I can just, I want it to be a perfect square. So I can use the same width and height for it. But one thing I don't know is I know that we have a fit. Okay, yeah. So this fit basically helps to determine whether it should be it should be contained. So with this height and width, right, the image will be contained inside no matter what. You have the cover. The cover is it will basically spread itself inside the box. You have the fill. It will try and scale up to fill the box. We have the fit height, fit weight, and none. So I think I will use let me try cover. Right. So as you can see here, because we are using the size, so it's picking it from width to width. So it is touching the width of the screen. And yeah, I think we can choose to leave this, but it will be better we just add some padding around it because this is touching. So you can basically just wrap the same method. You can see the icon over here. Just wrap with padding, and we can give it padding of 24. Oh, so padding also has some properties. So it has the so this is left, top, right, and bottom. So you can specify different numbers for them. We have from the window padding, then we have only. So only is you can state that maybe only left should be 2, then that's or only right to be something. Yeah. Then we have the symmetric. So basically, this is for horizontal and vertical. So if you say horizontal should be 20, it will apply to both sides. You say horizontal should be 20, it will apply also to both sides. So I see we are looking at the all. I think it should be 20. As you can see here, our image is chopped because we use the cover. Where is it? Yeah, we use the cover. So I think we can use fill also. Yeah, we can use fill. Yeah, I think this is a little better. So to wrap up this session, we've looked at adding images to our project. That's assets. So as I said, assets can take any should I say media file. So yeah, images, audio, video, text, like whatever. You also look at how to clean our project using the flutter clean command. It deletes this folder. That's your build folder, which contains like the build of your project, and also some other generated files. Then we also looked at how to reference our asset folder. That's the files that we added, the images we added inside our aspect.yml for Flutter to be able to know that we've added some images or some assets. Then we now finish up with our project by adding. Okay, so we also look at how to add plugins. So how to search for a plugin and basically then add it to your project. That's what we've added here. And using that plugin inside our code, that is this image widget we have here. Then we also basically look at using shortcuts. So something like for copyright symbol, degrees symbol, trademark symbol, and stuff like that. I mean, you can always Google the shortcut um, for your keyboard type and basically just insert it. Then we look at how to create a row. basically how to space it and like put everything, align it very well. So in our next lesson, we'll be looking at how to actually make the page more dynamic by now making calls to our HTTP endpoint, that is Open Weather API. So basically, we will get data from Open Weather API, look at the weather type that it returns, and basically use that to determine which image to display, and basically display the rest of the data. That's the degrees, the weather for the next day, and our location. And I think before we can do that, we have to also add our location API. So in adding our location API, we also look at how to do the configuration of the setup inside Android and inside iOS, because these two things are very important. Without, if you don't do them, basically you can't use the location plugin. So that's all. That's all for our lesson today. I'll basically push this code to GitHub, and I'll share the link with Shadrach, and I'm sure he will get it to the community. So yeah, thanks everyone. If there's any question, can please ask.
Thanks, Etonam, for this awesome takeover. Taking us through these projects we are working on as part of our Flutter series, or Flutter Sundays. Yes, it's awesome. I'm learning something, and I hope the others too are learning something. So in the chat or in the comments, I've dropped the link to the GitHub. That's the repo. I've dropped it in there, so I think you guys can clone it. But don't forget to give it a star, and don't forget to follow Etonam on GitHub as well. Yeah, so we'll move to the question and answers. We'll do that in 5 minutes, then we'll call it a day. So the first one, I think, is a compliment. I saw something here. You said, what? Okay, so Sue said, nice shortcut for the degree symbol. Yeah, okay, keeping it in my notes. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we have another one here. So what's your ideal way of implementing a light and dark theme in Flutter? So Randall, if you can take us through this.
I would. I know I'm still somewhat mystified by the Flutter 2.0 changes regarding all the theming. There's now themes inside themes. I've been calling it themeception as sort of part of the meme of, the movie Inception was a movie within a movie within a movie. Themes seem to be kind of that way too, and I still don't have my head entirely around it. I did like that you used the theme of context to get at what the current body one was. By the way, just a tidbit that I had to actually struggle to go find in the source code for the SDK, thank God the SDK provides the source code, is what is the thing for just a default text? If you just say text and hello, what theme is that? What theme style is that? It's body text 2. So if you have other things that you want to start with body text 2 and add things to it, that's where you start. You start with body text 2 of the theme. And that's the basic text widget when you don't adorn it at all.
All right, that's an awesome explanation. I don't know if Etonam wants to say something, if it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'll share a certain link. I think you can. So usually, I use the material design guideline. So, with this particular site, I mean, they've stated how a dark theme should look like, and how a light theme should look like. How basically you use your asset colors very well, your primary colors very well, and stuff like that. So, basically, it all depends on your project or the branding of your project, right? So looking at your colors, you just have to, with that theme, your colors don't have to be too bright. Basically, I mean, that's the whole reason for dark theme. So you just have to find a shade of the color you're actually using, which is much pleasant to the eye, when it is combined with something dark. And you can always use the materialdesign.io/design link. They have lots of guidelines over there using fonts and everything. It's all there.
And I'll add to that in the material app widget, which was part of your layout right near the top, there is a place for you to insert a general theme, a theme for dark, a theme for light, a theme for high contrast. And those would be used according to what the user has set in their preferences. So you want to provide, if you change one of them, you probably want to change all of them, because it may be that you have a sort of a certain set of colors that you want to keep in your app, whether they've chosen light theme or dark theme, for example. Well, you need to do that there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's material app you want to look for, because there's two elements in the constructor called, there are a few. There's theme, there's dark theme, there's light theme, and a few more like that. Yeah, check that out.
Sure. That's awesome. Then thank you very much, Brenda. Then I have something here also. He said, I can't wait to see which design pattern you will be going for. MVVM, MVC.
Is that me or?
So I think I think he can't wait to see the design pattern he will be using for in his work. Yeah, in his project we are having. All right, so guys, I don't know if you have any more questions. If you have any more questions, kindly drop it in the comment section. We have Etonam here, we have Randa here. They are going to answer your questions for you. So if you have any questions, just drop in. Else, we are far ahead of time. Time is not ahead of us, but we are ahead of the time. So if we are not getting much questions, then I don't know if any of you have something to say. If not that, then we will have to call it a day. But if you have something to say, cool.
I could walk through how to use Dart Migrate to make it a 2.12 project instead of a 2.7 project. It's just brief. It's just a couple commands to show, especially if you're just starting with the counter app. There's not much in it. So I just need to share my code window again. Let's see here, share.
All right, okay. All right, sure.
And application window. There's my pub spec YAML. Okay, so as you see right now, hopefully you can see this. I have the version is 2.7 up to 3. And that's sort of what came out when I said Flutter create. So that's what it's generating right now. And 2.7 was the latest one before null safety came around. But pretty much all your new projects are going to want to be null safe right out of the box. So what you do here is you have to do a couple things. So this is all on, I don't remember the actual URL, but if you Google for, see, Google's my brain, I tell you, it really helps everything. If you Google for null safe migration or null safety migration, and either the words Dart or Flutter, you should go right to the page that will have these same instructions on it. I don't want to do that. I want to open up a little terminal window here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so right now I've got the project straight out of the box, whatever Flutter created for an application. And if I say Flutter hub outdated dash mode equals, hope I get this right. So this is me not looking at notes or anything. This is me looking inside my brain. But you'll do this. And what this will tell you is hopefully all good news, which is saying that either you're already using the right versions in your pub spec, like here, like Cupertino icons obviously was okay, because I am using that apparently for something. Because it needs to be in there for the Cupertino widgets if I'm using any of those. Okay, but if there was problems here, I wouldn't recommend migrating until it says it's okay, everything you depend on has a null safe version already. Okay, so this is the first thing. This is the gatekeeper. This is like, you don't go past this mark until this is straightened out. or until all these people that you're depending on have upgraded their packages and so on. But because I don't have any errors here, what do you know? I'm going to go ahead and migrate. And that is really simple. We say Dart, maybe a Flutter command too, but I know Dart works. Dart, migrate. And that's simple. That's the whole command there. Now, what it'll do is it will try to change the things. Now, it's looking at the whole project, including all the dependencies, and seeing what would have to change in order to make this the modern Dart, the modern stuff that you should be moving to. And it says no analysis issues found. It's generating suggestions, which there weren't any. I don't have the web enabled right now, but if you go to this web link, it will be a full interface to walk you through item by item which things need to be changed to go to null safety, which files need to be changed. And you can interactively work with it and say, no, don't make that migration. There's a way of commenting it out so it won't do it, or commenting it in so it will do it when it does it all at once. But anyway, I don't need to go there because everything's okay. And hit Control-C to terminate this. Okay, finish preview, right? Hit Control-C to terminate this process. So I didn't look at the preview. Actually, I'm going to look at it. You won't be able to see it, but I'm going to look at it real quick to see if there's anything I need to report about that. No, it's extremely boring. It says, yes, I can do everything I'm supposed to do. Although there is this one thing here. Let me expand this. Select that. Okay.
Yeah, so the thing is, you can't see it.
Oh, you can see it?
Yeah.
Oh, am I sharing the whole? So you can see this proposed null safety changes up here at the top.
No, so you can only see your text editor.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was going to change this for a second so you can see it. I have to go back to here, and then I need to stop sharing that. So I need to switch this for a second. Share screen, but I'm going to share my web browser. Here it is. And there. Okay. Now, so this is what I'm looking at. So this is what the migration window looks like that was at that URL that you saw a moment ago. And it said it had to make 3 changes to main.dart. And you don't have to understand this just yet, but those are 3 changes that should be made. Oh, it doesn't scale the text very well, because normally this comes at the end of the string. Hopefully that's big enough that you can still see it. Okay, so it does say that it has to make a few changes. This exclamation mark here, or these question marks. Again, if you don't understand that, read up on null safety, and it will explain what all these things are doing. You can also go to individual lines here, and actually gives you the explanation. Change the type key to be nullable. That means it has a question mark after it now. But this is the text as it needs to be for null safe Dart, and that's what we should be moving to eventually anyway. So now I'm going to switch back to the other my code window again, so you can see what it's actually going to do. So we go share screen again. We're sharing code this time. PubSpec YAML, yes, share. Okay, so now let's say I've looked at that window. It will actually edit my files for me to make all those changes. You just say apply everything. But now I'm going to Control-C out of this, just like it tells me to do down here. Okay, and now the next thing I want to do is, let's see. Oh, I had to apply the results. Okay, so Dart migrate one more time. Let's take about 30 seconds again. So it's figuring out again everywhere these change, including the PubSpec YAML file, which is probably the coolest one. It automatically changes you to requiring 2.12 for this at the end. So let's see. I guess I could show that again. Yeah, why not? So I'm going to click this open. Well, actually, I can do that in a second. No, I need to be doing it first. Okay, click that to open that. You can't see this yet. Don't worry. I'll go back to sharing my web browser. I could just share my desktop, but I'm lazy right now. Okay, share screen, application window, null safety preview, share. Okay, this is the same screen you saw before. And see, it says it's going to make 3 changes to main.dart. Okay, which are the 3 changes there. It's also, it doesn't say it, but it's also going to change the PubSpec file. And then I just go down to, go over here to the right-hand side. apply migration. So I'm clicking that now. And so we'll apply the changes. It says yes. And yes, I do want it to actually make those changes. I hit OK. And it's done. It was that fast. It was done. And now, if we then go out of this, there's also help up over here, which tells us all about this too. Dart migrate's the only thing you really have to remember to get to this stage. Okay, so now let me close that out, and now you have nothing being shared for me probably. Let me fix that again. Oh, it's still sharing the web browser. Okay, stop that. I don't want you to see that. I want you to see my code again. Where's code? Application window, post-spec YAML, share. Okay, so here's my code again. Okay, so now look down here at the bottom. Since I hit apply, it fixed widget test, it fixed main.dart, the ones we saw. It fixed pub-spec YAML, and also some other file here. I don't know what that other file is. I don't care. It's doing the right thing. But let's scroll up. Look at that. It's now 2.12. It is now null safe ready, and it can use null safe packages out of the pub just fine now. And it only made those few changes, and now we're ready to go again. So that's what I wanted to show. Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't know whether Shadrach is around.
Now, is there any other questions that we can answer?
Yeah, that's awesome, Randa.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if there's any other question. I don't think we have other questions here currently. So yes, so we have to maybe bring everything to an end. I don't know if Deborah, are you in here? Hello, Deborah.
Stepped away apparently.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
I am.
yes.
Oh,
So
Yes, I'm here.
all right. Yeah, sure. All right, sure. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome back.
Yeah.
All right, so Deborah, over to you. We are done.
Okay.
I don't know if you have. Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, I'll come back next
Okay,
week.
so thank you, Randall.
Yeah.
Certainly. Thank you, Randall. Thank you, Etonam, for a great session. Hopefully, we get to hear from you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Use Google. Oh, I did also don't turn us off just yet, unless you. No, yeah, we're still live. Google for migrate null safety. There was a video done by one of the Googlers for the Flutter Engage event that happened a few weeks ago. So
Awesome.
that's a whole like 45 minutes just on that. So if you Google for Dart migrate null safety or something like that, whatever's in the title of that, I can't remember, but it's, if you also look at all the videos that came with Flutter Engage, it's one of those.
Sure. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
All right, bye, guys.